What I'm going to tell you today, I really wish someone would have told me when I began dropshipping. What's going on, guys? I'm Braden Wirtz. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe. I continue to over-deliver insane value to you guys every day to grow you personally and financially as well. Alright guys, so I want to come and tell you exactly what you need if you're starting dropshipping as a beginner. And I'm going to cover if you're starting dropshipping with zero money, if you're starting dropshipping with $2,000. I'm going to tell you different plans to choose to actually go ahead and make a dropshipping business and make it successful. I'm going to tell you things that other so-called gurus don't say because a lot of what you actually need to know isn't really out there in the public. And I'm here to bring that to you guys to help you grow very successful, very strong businesses. Not just a get-rich-quick scheme, actual successful businesses that you can grow, scale, and potentially even sell years down the road. The first thing you guys need to do is you need to go ahead and do your research. A big mistake I see a lot of times is that people just jump into dropshipping thinking that they can go ahead and make a lot of money, because you can, and they see a lot of other people being successful with it, and so they just jump right in. They don't do their research. They might understand the business model, but you guys need to understand more than just a business model. You need to understand more than how drop shipping works. You need to understand how to actually build a brand, how you want to design your store. You need to understand what a good Shopify store actually looks like. You need to understand at least the basics of influencer marketing or Facebook advertising, even Google advertising, whatever route you're going to go down. You need to go ahead and actually have a basic understanding of that. That way, when you're designing your store and you're really trying to build your brand, you can actually go ahead and implement that on your store. This will also help dictate what route you choose, with whether going with a general store, a mid-level store, or a specific niche store. And I've talked in other videos about what I prefer, and I prefer as a starting beginner to go with a mid-level niche store. And you can check out those videos on my channel. I have them in a bunch of videos, but it's definitely very, very, very smart to go ahead and do your research. When I was starting dropshipping, I did just jump in. I was doing Amazon FBA at the time, and I was trying to experiment with Shopify at the same time. And essentially, I knew if I was going to make this successful, I needed to go ahead and do crash courses. So I took thousands of dollars worth of different courses, put them together, took what I liked out of them, built my framework for what worked for me, and then I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And so basically, it was just, I was trying to soak in as much knowledge as possible. That way, when I actually did start marketing, I could go ahead and have a game up. And that's essentially what happened. Right when I started marketing, I kind of knew what I was doing already. That way, I didn't waste a lot of money. I did have time where I was actually testing what worked and all of that. And I did lose some money in the beginning, especially before I knew what I was doing. But I went ahead and actually really, really focused on doing the research. That way, I could come at it strong. And I highly suggest you do that. One of the biggest mistakes I did in the beginning was just jumping straight in, kind of blind. And like I said, I did waste some money on ads that I could have used way more efficiently. So that's tip number one. Definitely do your research. So now what you're going to want to do is you want to take your time. So Shopify, the plan I suggest is doing the $29.99 a month plan, so the $30 a month plan. And what's great about this is, first off, you get a two-week free trial, and then after that, it's just $30 a month. I see so many people just throw a store together and then start marketing, because they know the way to get traffic is through either influencer marketing or Facebook ads, and so they just start throwing money at marketing. Well, if you don't have a good store built and on your way to building a brand, you're not going to get sales anyway. You're just going to be throwing your money out there. And this is a huge mistake I see. I see so many people making this mistake, is that they rush their store to get to where they can then market their store. You need to go ahead and take your time with your store. And while you're building your store, you can be working on, how would I increase the conversion rate? Think of yourself as the customer, put yourself in a customer's shoes. Try to make the most amazing Shopify store that you can, and then start marketing. If you have everything in place, the marketing is going to be easy. I see all the time people are so worried about finding a winning product, and in order to have the massive numbers, you do need a winning product. But many times, if you have a very, very well built store, then you can go ahead and start making sales even with just decent products. That way you're not just losing a lot of money right off the bat, and you will lose money if you don't take your time and set up the store. So the next thing is setting a budget. So now this is where I'm going to cover different plans. So If you have literally no money to spend on marketing, you just have money to go ahead and open your Shopify store. You know, I have my own views on what you need to start Shopify as far as the budget goes, and I've done a whole video on how much money you need to start drop shipping. But we're not going to talk about that now. We're going to talk about what budget you actually have right now. So if you have $0, one, I recommend you really take your time building your Shopify store, and you need to get as knowledgeable as possible on the whole topic, on advertising, everything. But once you have the store built, the first thing I would suggest you do is start with influencer marketing. So Instagram influencers. I've used Instagram influencers in the past. It's definitely not my favorite way of marketing. It does work to an extent. If you want to scale high, you're going to have to go with Facebook ads, but it can help at least give you a starting budget to then go ahead and start with Facebook ads. Now, Instagram influencers, at least the quality ones, they're getting sort of pricey now. And so especially if you're testing, trying to find a winning product, it can get dangerously expensive if you're not careful. So what I would suggest is if you have zero money, you know, one, hopefully you have another job and you have money there. Start saving money. Don't go out on the weekends. Don't spend money on video games or whatever you like to spend money on that's kind of spending. I know that sucks, but if you're trying to build a business with a very low risk business model, a very low barrier of entry business model, the benefits way outweigh, you know, going out on the weekends and doing that stuff. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you want to build a business, you're going to have to take some sacrifices. So that's the first thing. You need to go ahead and start saving your money. Once you have just a little bit of money and you don't need much, you can start testing Instagram influencers. Instead of buying a video game, you can buy a shout out from an Instagram influencer. So that would be the first thing. Now, if you do have money, and I would say at least $300 or more, start with Facebook ads. I highly, highly, highly suggest you go the Facebook ad route rather than the influencer route. This is the way that you will scale to the moon. This is how I've done $450,000 on one of my stores in just 7 months. I was able to get my R8, all of that because of Facebook ads, and I knew what I was doing. And so you need to go ahead and learn the ad strategy, and you need to go ahead and use it wisely. Be very methodical in your approach, and that's the next thing. Be very methodical with every single thing you do. Don't just throw money at something and hope it sticks. You need to know exactly what you're doing, exactly how you're marketing, and essentially the outcome you want. You need to know how to read the data in your Facebook ads. And that's a big thing I don't see people talk about at all. And I'm going to start releasing videos on how to actually read the data in your ads manager. That way you can actually go ahead and implement your past data to go ahead and help you find winning products and scale winning products. But be very methodical. I've seen people blow hundreds of dollars in just one day without even having a winning product. You don't want to do that. You want to be very methodical. What I like to do is start with a $5 PPE ad, then move to a $10 conversions ad the next day. And so you don't want to go ahead and just throw a bunch of money at it. Be very methodical in your approach in every single thing you do. The next thing, after you've gone ahead and started marketing, you're going to start getting traffic to your store. Now, not only are you trying to find a winning product with your ads, but you're actually wanting to take the data you get from your store, using your Google Analytics and everything to see the pages people are dropping off of. Why on that page why would they be leaving your store? You need to go ahead and analyze literally everything. When I was starting in the beginning, one thing I was constantly researching is how to boost conversion rate. Before I had a winning product, I was essentially just trying to boost the conversion rate because I had decent products. And so I was getting some sales, had some data to go off of, and I essentially was looking at pages people were dropping off of. I would go ahead and get my friends' opinions. I was looking at it as a customer essentially, and I was saying what on here is making the person leave the page. What is a trust issue with this page? What is a trust issue with my store, with the product, whatever? When I did that, it boosted my conversion rate 2 points right off the bat. So you need to go ahead and be very methodical about trying to boost the conversion rate of your store as you're even trying to find a winning product. Because if you wait till you find a winning product, then you're losing out on a lot, and you might potentially not find a winning product if you don't worry about the conversion rate. You need to worry about that, and that goes to the second point on taking your time with building your store. If you take your time with building your store, you're already going to have a very, very good base. And the other thing with that and taking your time, don't come at this with a get-rich-quick scheme. You want to come at this on how to build a sustainable business and have a massive foundation. That way, when you do start marketing, you can instantly start getting sales, one, and you're already focusing on building that brand, because having the brand, having a large social media presence, having returning customers, having a very powerful email list is how you really win. So these are all things that aren't talked about very much in the dropshipping world, at least on YouTube. But these are all very, very critical things if you're actually trying to build a real business and you're not just trying to get in for the quick buck. Because if you don't follow these things, you might make just a little bit of money. But I want you guys to do so much more than that. I want you guys to be able to change your lives essentially with what you make on dropshipping, and you can totally do it. So I hope you guys found insane value in this video. I continue to over-deliver insane value to you guys every day to grow you personally and financially as well. Leave down in the comments, a mistake you made when starting out, or if you're just starting out, any questions you have, I'd love to answer them. Make sure to leave a like, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Keep grinding, y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.